How's practice today?
Do you guys take turns asking who asked that question? Like, so you don't like the same guy doesn't get the
We figure if we all different try it, we might get a different answer. It's the conversation of what's up.
You know, I was pleased today with the first day of school. We haven't really practiced much on the first day of school in the past. With some of the distractions that you have, having to go to class and things been different. We decided to try it this year, and I was pretty pleased with the focus our guys had. Meetings, I think it started a little bit slow. I had to jump on them in meetings real quick at the beginning. But once we hit the field, I was pretty pleased. The key is now that we're in the limited football team, a lot of teams are still in training camp around the country, and we're not. So our time's been really scrunched down, and we have to really be focused in the short period of time that we get our players every day. And I thought our guys on the field had that focus today.
In your previous stops, have you been more apt to give them the first day of class off, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember what it did back at Notre Dame in '99 or 2000, but since then we've always had the first day of school off.
Okay.
Just because of the different things that go on, but we tried it this year, and I'm pleased with the result.
I asked a lot about special teams the last couple of days. Were we looking at maybe like gunner?
A lot of different guys. You know what? Yeah, we call it our missile.
Really?
But, yeah, he's a missile down the field. No, a bunch of different guys. What we're into now, I think we've installed all of our special teams. So now we're getting to a lot of scrimmage special teams, which actually can look sloppy because, to make it not complicated, you have a whole offensive punt unit and a whole defensive punt return unit, so everybody's in the same matching jerseys. So the returner knows who's on what team, or else it's just like you can't tell any. I mean, it's just a mess running down the field. And so you don't actually have your team, your ones out there or your twos out there, because it'll be kind of intermixed from those guys. But there's guys out there. Mark Burr's a guy that's been on it before. Really was a great player at the missile last year. Perkins has done a good job at it. Damian Anderson's done a good job at it. Brandon Evans has done a good job at it in practice. Lewis Watson's done a pretty good job. So there's a lot of guys that they're getting now their scrimmage reps all the way through Friday, and then we'll kind of try to start setting the depth charts next week.
Anything major or anything you changed from last year that you didn't like what you guys are doing there?
Special teams wise?
Yeah.
We're always going to tweak some things a little bit, but our general, our philosophy, we have an attacking philosophy on special teams isn't going to change.
Okay.
Hopefully our kickers kick off a little bit deeper than they did last year. That's one thing we'd like to change. But our mindset of being in attack mode, no matter what special teams unit's on the field, it's not going to change.
I heard the new guy is booting into the end zone.
Egan?
Quite consistently, is that right? At least early in camp.
That might be him patting himself on the back or something right there.
It wasn't him, though.
It wasn't Deep Pasquale trying to get himself out of it.
Probably
right
so.
There.
Maybe so.
Yeah, those guys all stick together, try to get more followers on their Twitter accounts or something if they think they did really good and less haters. But, he's doing good. I think he's working, trying to get consistent. I don't know if we have anybody that's kicking it out. So, but if we can, I'll be very happy.
You were talking about setting the depth chart. So there are lots of places up for grabs, or there are just 2 or 3 spots?
To me, everywhere. Everywhere, because once you start getting into more game mode next week, reps are much more specialized. Who you're getting ready to go play a game. So you kind of have to set the depth chart. It doesn't mean it's locked in, but you have to set the depth chart of who's getting reps, getting ready to play for the game. And the ones and twos the jobs are still up for grabs, but instead of having 3 guys rotate in a position getting equal reps, the ones and twos are going to get a lot more reps, and the threes are going to be significantly decreased. And some guys are going to have to go play scout team, so those reps are going to change next week.
I just mean, are there a lot of unsettled battles you think, or do you have a pretty good idea everywhere?
We have a decent idea who's going to play.
Yeah.
What the depth chart is. There's a lot of battles up for. But to me, the depth charts sometimes are overrated. It's neat that you get your name on the jumbotron or something when they're announcing the starting lineup.
Right.
But guys are going to play. We'll rotate a lot of guys.
Dan, when you go into the scrimmage this weekend, what are you trying to evaluate? Is it more of a, kind of, we'd like to do this, and just kind of like, does the scrimmage just, do you want that to validate what you've gone through, or are you still trying to see where guys can go and putting them in spots? Are you trying,
both,
trying to experiment?
Both. One, we'll go to the stadium for it, so it's going to be a game.
Okay.
One, I mean, it's an evaluation of everybody. Getting coaches off the field completely in the box with headsets, players all the way off the field, substitution in from the sideline. To me, it's a scrimmage that has to get us prepared to go play a game. That's our big last game situation, the game scrimmage that we're going to do, as well as find out who can do things.
So you're still
the scrimmage to me is not to see Vic Ballard carry the ball 32 times.
Right.
You know what I mean? I've seen that on the field already in an SEC game. I don't need that. It's to find out, we'll still experiment with some new things offensively, defensively, to see if we like them in game situations. And then experiment with guys at different spots and how they fit into what we want to do.
You mentioned Ballard yesterday. You said you feel good about him and Perkins, and it was the 3 spot. You're kind of, I don't know if concerned is the right word, but is that Robert Elliott or bust until Griffin gets back, or maybe some of the fullbacks that aren't?
The fullbacks, and you got the freshmen competing for carries. When you start looking at carries, and there's only so many plays in a game, and everybody wants the ball. So, it's a valuable thing to get the ball in your hand and find out who can do something, who can protect it first, and then who can do something with it second.
Do you think early on maybe the fullbacks might get a little more carries than usual?
I think they probably are a little better running backs than what we played with last year. Look at it. Adrian Marcus and Shumpert. Probably a little better with the ball in their hands than the rotation we had last year. And Hemphill is even better, is better than where he was last year. So I'm more comfortable putting the ball in their hands. Now, whether we do it a lot, we'll see.
Talking to the quarterbacks, they seem to think that the offense won't change from quarterback to quarterback maybe as much as it would have, like last year when Tyler Russell was coming in and everybody just kind of figured to throw the ball.
Yeah.
A lot more relaxed there, that you could throw one of those guys out, if Chris gets hurt or something like that.
I think there's more comfort at that position. The guys understand the offense now, so you don't have to kind of tailor it back. Tyler knows what he's doing. Tyler walks on the field, the whole playbook's going to be open to him, same as with Chris now. And Dylan, Dylan's, just such a quarterback smart, savvy guy that it's all open to him as well, that he's picked it up that way. If Dak Prescott had to go play, we'd probably cut back a smaller package for him. But I think all of those guys are pretty comfortable doing it. And obviously some guys do certain things a little bit better, and you major in that when they're in the game. But it's not as part of the playbook's going to be shut off for certain guys.
So it's like last year.
Last year, last year we tried to do some things with Tyler that he was comfortable with, and I think he's a lot more comfortable with the whole offense now.
Rolling out and doing things like that.
Yeah, he can do it all.
What's your
Go run it. He's a power back. That's his new look. You're gonna put a neck roll on him like Steve Grogan.
What's your philosophy with quote-unquote star players on special teams? And obviously I'm talking about Chad Buffus in the return game. And the argument is you had to have him back there because he was your best option, but would you like to have somebody else back there so Chad doesn't get possibly killed?
I guess in theory we'd have to have some star players to have a star player issue on special teams, since we have no star players.
Concerned about having Chad back there then, with an injury?
No, I just want the best guy with the ball in his hands, and if he's not the best guy with his ball in his hands, I'm going to put whoever the best guy with the ball in their hands is, because like I said, we're on the attack mode when it comes to special teams. So, Chad knows he's competing for touches. If he's taking off of special teams right there, that's probably about 5 less touches he's going to get per game. And as we get that depth growing, the competitiveness to get the ball in your hands is getting fun.
What do you think of all the scandals that have been going on in college football over the last year? The Cam Newton stuff for you guys, his name that came up last year, and then obviously now with the
I like us being out of
thing.
scandals. To me, I think we're trying the best we can to run our program the right way. I think the biggest tragedy of it is the scandals are taking the lead over the great things happening in college football because they don't sell. I'm going to bet for every scandal you find, there's 100 great college football stories out there of success. Unfortunately, though, people succeeding in this world maybe is not the success that we're looking for right now to sell. What sells is what scandal we can find next.